Welcome back to Silverstone. It's the last race of POWERnights. The light is fading fast, but there's still a good grid and a good crowd here as well to watch the action. The invitation, Toyota MR2s take on Mazda MX5s here. The lights are red, the lights will be out any second. The race gets underway. Pole position for this being Dave Cross. Lots of task break from Adam Litchfield as he leaves the line. You're on board with Patrick Mortel going down towards Copse Corner. Heading into the braking area then for the first time. Good start being made then by the likes of Tony Hughes and Richard Weaving from the second row of the grid. On board here with Jonathan Blake, who arrives at Copse at unabated speed, and he goes very, very wide indeed. He's gained places rather than losing them. He's got all that momentum. He did that during the first race as well, and it worked to his advantage. So once again, Jonathan Blake, rather than slowing the car down, just goes so fast into the corner, uses all of the extra tarmac on the outside and gains ground then. Whoops, two of them go off. Adam Litchfield was one. He takes one of the Mazdas with him. Two more places gained for Jonathan Blake. This is playing right into his hands. Now so far it's Toyota in the lead, but then all the Mazdas ganging up on him. Down towards Brooklands they come. Number one then, Patrick Mortel is leading. Blake goes second. In third place is Andy Burge, number 44. They're going through. 21 is Tom Roach. Out of the left-hander then at Brooklands up towards Lufkin. You can see how dark it's got in the space of just a lap here. You can easily tell the Toyotas, they're the one with the lights on, the Mazdas without lights at the moment. And so this is going to be an increasingly gloomy race for them. Over the line, Patrick Mortel in the green and black Toyota MR2 leads from Jonathan Blake, from Brett Walter, from Andy Burge. Then you've got all the other MX5s trying to queue up behind as they go past the pits here. The Mazdas need to work together, otherwise Patrick Mortel's going to build the lead. Blake second, Walter third, fourth is Burge. In fifth place going through now is 31, and that's the very rapid Phil Sykes. Sykes goes a little bit wide as they turn their way out of Copse, up now towards Maggots. 10 minutes plus a lap is the intended duration of this, but it might be that it has to be truncated just a fraction early because you can see how dark it's getting. A big, big slide for Andy Burge, and there's contact as well. He gets glanced off there. No harm done. You also saw one car with some sparks showering from underneath. Now Jonathan Blake has lost a place, and you can see that he's trying to get the message to Brett Walter to try and go after the leader now. I understand. Je comprends, says Brett, down towards the left-hander, and Mortel goes wide going into Brooklands, and that's going to put Brett Walter through on the inside, uses the curb there, but he goes through and grabs the lead. Jonathan Blake tucks in behind him in second place, or does he? Patrick Mortel stays with him on the inside there. Jonathan Blake on the outside line as they go to the corner. Then Mortel gets all sideways round. He goes. Are they all going to miss him? Yes, so far, but that was very close indeed. Now, whether he spun or whether there was a little tap, I didn't see, but certainly that car seemed to get away from Patrick Mortel very, very suddenly. Well, he's lucky there's been no major damage in all of that. So, race leader remains Brett Walter, but Jonathan Blake, who has been very committed in this race so far, now goes second. More task wheel as they go around Copse Corner, and this a replay on board with Patrick Mortel. I think there was a nudge, wasn't there? Round he went, and quite how they all missed him, neither he nor they know. Back into the right direction goes Mortel, but that was incredibly close. Adam Litchfield there in 81, turning his way around Copse Corner. Phil Sykes right on his tail now. Up through the corner and accelerating on towards Maggots and then Beckett. Adam Litchfield making it look even darker there, headlights on. See the reflection in the road as well as he comes up towards Beckett with Phil Sykes right up behind him, trying to go around the outside in fact now. That ain't going to work, I don't think, Phil. He's back in the wheel tracks now, out of Beckett. We've had some superb racing offered up by the MR2s and by the Mazdas at previous POWERnights. You put them together, it's a great recipe, this. Now, Brett Walter leading the race, looks as though he might be clear now because Jonathan Blake is rather busy keeping Tom Roach at bay, and Roach goes round him on the outside there. Another good move, Paul. Tom Roach then goes second on board here with Blake. From the onboard, it looks quite bright, doesn't it? From outside, it looks really dark now at Silverstone. You see the rear light there on the car in second place of Tom Roach, the man from Cardiff. Jonathan Blake runs wide, and another spinner, and backwards into the gravel there goes David Weaving. Is he going to be able to get out? Yes, he is. Back into the race, one of the Mark 2 MR2s that runs in the series. This the recovering Patrick Mortel, another Mark 2 MR2 driver, goes around Beckett's. Somebody off ahead of him. And stones shower the windscreen and put a big, big hole in it. Number 33 it was that has got it wrong, Roland Woodley in fact. And it was his stones, as he tries to get going, that have just showered the windscreen of Patrick Mortel and smashed the screen as well. Second, third and fourth together here. Tom Roach ahead of Jonathan Blake, and on the inside there you can see 44 is Andy Burge. Blake goes wide, uses all of the grass boot on the outside of Luffield, and Burge comes up on the inside. Is he going to go through then? This is side by side for third place here, look. Past the pits they go, down towards Copse Corner. Burge on the inside now, on the outside is Jonathan Blake. Now is Blake going to use his demon line around Copse Corner where he uses all of the tarmac? He goes in quickly, he does use all of the tarmac. I think sooner or later the officials may have to wag a finger at him for that, because the idea of having a corner with some safety tarmac is that you slow down for the corner, not use it as part of the racing line. So Blake goes back to third, or does he? He's still on the outside of Burge, and Burge, deservedly I think here, hangs on to third place. Jonathan Blake gets forced back behind him and launches himself over the curb as well. Back on board with Blake, gains a gear, going down towards Brooklands now. That moves him ahead. He's on the outside coming out of Beckett's, which is the inside, of course, dropping down towards Brooklands. He's into the braking area. Is Blake going to go back on the inside for third? It looks like he might be able to do it. Uses all of the curve and the grass. Really is having his own version of the line at Silverstone, but in the main, it is working for Jonathan Blake. Nobody else tackles Copse Corner quite like him, but that was a much shorter run through Brooklands, as they're going through number one, Patrick Mortel, the early race leader. He makes his run now towards Luffield. Behind him, got more of the Toyota MR2s running in formation. Race leaders go past the pits then, down towards Copse Corner onto the last lap of the race now. And you can see how dark it has become here. POWERnights living up to its name now, not just evening racing, but night racing as well. And this is something very unusual for British club racers. On occasion, some of the higher profile championships have had a night race, or it's a 24-hour race indeed at Silverstone. But for your mainstream club racer, a race in the dark is something very unusual indeed. And this has been a very good race, and it ain't over yet, because for third place, again, Blake all over the curb. Right up behind him, looking for the toe there, you can see is Andy Burge on the run down towards Brooklands. He moves across the track, right into the wheel tracks then, hoping that the airflow from Blake's car will drag him along, and therefore he'll be quicker down the National Straight. It looks as though Brett Walter is on target for a win. Second there, it's Tom Roach, and third and fourth, Blake just ahead of Burge. Burge goes to the inside. Is he going to work for him? No, it won't. They're side by side now, going up towards the right-hander of Luffield. Round the outside goes Andy Burge, and there's a big moment there for Adam Litchfield that he controls. But now it's going to be a race win for Brett Walter. He's well clear of anybody else. In second place, it's going to be Tom Roach. And what about third? Is it going to be Blake, or is it going to be Burge who comes across the line? That's side by side. It's just Jonathan Blake ahead. 64 thousandths of a second covered them, and that's Rob Ullman, who's recovering from a moment down at Brooklands. He's back in the race. He's lost a place though, because that's Kevin Middleton who's gone through in the Mazda MX5. Rob Ullman right up behind him, the ex-Fiesta XR2 racer, makes his move though on the outside here. They're about to come side by side over the line. Is he going to be able to get the place back? This is for the last place in the top 10. And Rob Ullman just goes round on the outside there. By 88 thousandths, he gains the place back from Kevin Middleton. What a race. Brett Walter the winner then, Tom Roach second, Jonathan Blake third ahead of Andy Burge, Phil Sykes fifth, and Malcolm Edison comes home in sixth. More great racing provided by the Toyotas and the Mazdas, and they're the top three drivers on the podium.